Good morning, good morning. It is Thursday yet again as we hurtle down the road to the end of June. I want to talk about limiting beliefs. Listeners, nothing anybody tells you is as important as what we tell ourselves. Now, a limiting belief is a belief that we hold about our potential, about what we can achieve, about what we deserve, about how worthy we are. And those beliefs come from a variety of sources. It can come from your childhood, where your parents or your primary caregivers or a teacher made you feel stupid, made you feel inadequate, made you feel less than. It can also come from the opposite, perhaps where you had parents who told you how wonderful you are and that you are gorgeous and that you can have what you want, and they never said no and they never gave you any constructive criticism, and therefore you have this belief that you are entitled to anything and everything. And that also becomes, funnily enough, a limiting belief, as dichotomous as that sounds, because life does not work that way. We don't always get what we want. But I want to focus on the limiting beliefs, that little voice in your head that says, I'd love to, but I can't, or I wish I had, but I never will. I'm not as clever as, I'm not as skinny as, I'm not as attractive as. All those things that you believe makes you less than someone else, or less than what you would like to be. In other words, you're not comfortable in your own skin and you settle. You settle for where you are because in your heart of hearts, you don't believe you can do better or have better. Now, belief is a thought that you have been thinking often enough and consistently enough that it becomes a belief. So how do we change that? Firstly, you need to have a look at where they come from. It is very difficult to change a limiting belief if you don't know why you believed it in the first place. So if you can go back and say, I remember my mom or my sub-A grade 1 teacher or my gran or my aunt or whoever saying something negative. Let's say, oh, you are such a stupid little girl. And from that moment on, I remember thinking that I'm not as clever as. There you have it. There you have a limiting belief and you know where it came from. And then you could say, what were the circumstances around it? Oh, perhaps, let's say, I was trying to put my dinner plate in the basin and I couldn't quite reach and I dropped it, and mom said, you are such a stupid little girl, or you're such a clumsy child. And from that day on, I believed that. I believe that I'm a clumsy child, and every time I stumble or drop something, that then becomes evidence that my mom was correct, and that reinforces that belief. It also could be where there are boys and girls in a family, brothers and sisters, where perhaps the one, let's say the little girl gets everything and she's the little princess and, gets dressed up and so on, and the little boy, well, you're just a little boy. You don't need all those things. So you may be a young man now who think, I don't deserve all those things. I shouldn't have all those things because that's what girls have. My parents always said, you're just a little boy. Boys don't need all those things. Boys shouldn't have all those things. And so whenever you didn't get the Christmas present you wanted or didn't get the promotion you wanted, you think to yourself, well, that is evidence of what was said to me when I was a child. And those limiting beliefs, whatever they are for you, maybe it is you're such a chubby little child. And from then on, you believe that you are overweight, you're always overweight, you always have a body issue. And funnily enough, the opposite also. You're so skinny, you're like a stick insect. And therefore you thought, well, I'm not attractive, I look like an insect. And that leads to that limiting belief that I am not as attractive as. And when we don't feel attractive, listeners, it affects how we walk into the world every day. When we don't feel confident, when we don't feel worthy and deserving, it affects how we walk into the world every day. And people pick up on that and they treat us like that. And we, of course, act accordingly. We don't put our hand up because I can't do that. People will laugh at me. People will say, oh, there's the skinny insect again. Or there is Chubby again, trying to think he or she can do this. And once we start to say, I would love to have or be, but look at what comes after the but. And try and discover what your limiting beliefs are. And then write them down. And then say, where do they come from? Because you weren't born with them. This is the good news. There is not a single baby being born and first day as it opens those little eyes saying, I'm less than, I'm not as pretty as, I'm too fat, I'm too thin, I'm too tall, I'm too short, I'm too clumsy, I am too stupid. Those are messages that are given to us during those very impressionable years. It can come later through an abusive relationship, particularly if you're in a relationship with someone like a narcissistic personality disorder, someone who's breaking you down, someone who is stripping you of your identity, and you can then become a shell of your former self. You can become that adult which does not believe in him or herself anymore. And therefore you act and behave accordingly, and you accept accordingly. You accept the poor treatment of others because you have been stripped of your very, very core identity. So ask yourself, where do my limiting beliefs come from? Is it because something that was said or done to me as a child during those very impressionable years? Is it because of an abusive relationship I have been in, and therefore I just don't have the confidence or the courage or the self-worth to say enough is enough? I haven't come this far to only come this far. And maybe up to now it was on you, but now it's on me, and I'm going to take back my power. I am going to start writing down my limiting beliefs, and I'm going to analyze them. Now I'm going to remember that, I remember Uncle Bobby telling me at the age of 6 that you are just such a clumsy, stupid little boy. Or that Granny always said, of all my granddaughters, you are just the most stupid little child. Or whatever was said to you. Or a teacher that made you feel stupid or inadequate or clumsy during those very important years. There comes the teenage years where we are equally impressionable. But if you have by then developed a healthy sense of self-worth, self-esteem, you can brush it off for what it is, an unkind remark by an uninformed person or insensitive person. But it does require homework. It does require us to say, what are they firstly? What is it that I want to have, be, and do? And what is stopping me from being, doing, and having that? And then look at the limiting beliefs and then say, where do they come from? Who or what planted the seed and watered it? And now I have this strong oak tree, this strong belief, this limiting belief that I'm not capable, that I'm not worthy, that I'm not deserving. And then you can start saying to yourself, but that's not true. That was something someone said at that particular place or situation. And I now choose to ignore that. And I choose to believe in myself. And I'm going to get again the skills, the knowledge, and the support I need to form new beliefs, affirming beliefs, beliefs that give me the confidence and the sense of self-worth that will enable me to achieve my potential, to achieve my dreams, and to follow my heart to where I want to go and to the life I want to live. I see many, and I have seen over the years I've been a life coach, so many people coming through my door, and their problem is lack of confidence. And the lack of confidence comes from a self-limiting belief that comes from somewhere, sometime, somewhere, somehow, someone said or did something that pulled the rug out from under your feet, and now you don't believe you are as much as you can be. So listeners, look at what you want to be, do, and have. Look at your limiting beliefs. Look at how you see yourself. And I don't know if I have shared this with you, but if you can find a photograph of yourself as a 5 or a 6-year-old and put it on your mirror, and every day stand in front of that mirror and say, in my case, what would I like to tell that little girl about her life and what she's capable of? And you certainly wouldn't like to tell that little girl that you're useless or stupid or clumsy or to this or to that or too little of this or too little of that. And tell that photograph, you're amazing, you are gorgeous or handsome, and you are capable. And today you're going to walk into the world knowing that you've all the potential to be, do, and have exactly what you want to be, do, and have. And you are not going to give that power to anyone else who have robbed you of that for their own reasons. You're going to take back the power and say, you know what? You teach people how to treat you, and I'm going to teach you to treat me with the respect and the consideration that I am worthy of. And I am worthy of it because I believe in myself and my ability. It is such a basic and such a fundamental thing, and yet so crucial to our happiness and well-being, because that limiting self-belief, that hamster on the treadmill in your head, that tape that plays in your head constantly about the doubts that you have about yourself, is the blueprint of your life. And unless you examine it, nothing will change. The only thing you can change is you. You cannot change what other people say about you. You cannot change what other people think about you. You have to change what you say and think about yourself. And that will be reflected in how you walk into the world. And when you walk into the world with confidence, being self-assured, having a solid sense of self, and again, I'm not talking about arrogance here. That is in the superfluous, excessive sense of the qualities we're talking about. We're talking about a healthy confidence, a healthy sense of self-worth, a healthy knowing that if I fail, that's okay. I will try again. I will find out why it didn't work, and I'm not giving up. And it is not because I am stupid or clumsy or incompetent or any of those things. I just fell because that's what people do. And that is how we learn. We don't learn from everything going right in life. And often, listeners, that is why children who've been very spoiled, who've been given everything they want, who have these lawnmower parents who want to smooth the path ahead of the child so the child doesn't experience any discomfort and never stumbles over anything, when they go out into the real world and when the real life confronts them and things go wrong, they have no clue how to handle it because they haven't been given the skills. So use those difficult times that you've had, use the challenges that you've had to have made you wiser, to have made you stronger, and to have given you the skills to cope with life ahead, because life does not always go the way we want to. Life is not designed for our convenience. Life is designed to challenge us, to make us stronger, to help us spread our wings wider, and to help us become more. And so look at every challenge and every problem as, this is going to demand something more of me than I have been doing in the past, and I will get the skills and the knowledge to do it. My wings will spread wider. My wingspan will expand and I will fly higher than today than I did yesterday because of it. I am going to succeed in spite of it. I am not going to crumble and sit in a heap and say, yes, my mom was right, my granny was right, my teacher was right. I really am not as good, as clever, as whatever. You are going to stand up today and say, enough is enough. I believe in myself and my ability to achieve what I want to achieve. And I'm going to stop feeling sorry for myself, because that's another thing. Do not be the victim. Do not go into that, oh, woe is me, the world's against me, and it's all my parents' fault, because there comes a point where we take responsibility for our own lives. Not everybody had the perfect childhood. Not everybody had the perfect parents. But there comes a time when you say, I am going to be the very best I can be, in spite of, and sometimes because of, those difficult times that I've had, because it's given me guts, it's given me self-discipline, it's given me perseverance, and it's given me the qualities that I need to succeed. It has not taken away from me. So listeners, self-limiting beliefs are those little, in Afrikaans there's the lovely expression, klein jakkalsies. It's those little niggles, those little things in our head that tend to scupper us and to tend to play over and over. And when things go wrong, we see that as evidence for those limiting beliefs to exist. I want you to stop doing that. I want you to see everything that goes wrong as, don't think you are better than I am, or don't think this challenge is bigger than I am. I am going to tackle you, and I shall learn and grow stronger and wiser with this. And that way you start building the person you want to be, the person you have been capable of being from the day you were born. Because as I say, remember, nobody's born angry, nobody's born less than, nobody's born feeling inferior. Those are things that your environment and people around you, messages that they give you, and that for whatever reason, it could just be that age where you were a sponge soaking that up. Or it could be a prolonged period of breaking you down, as I say, as in an abusive relationship. But from now on, you are going to take back your power and you're going to say, I am everything I want to be because I am capable. And if I'm not everything I want to be, I have only myself to blame. And I'm going to do what is necessary to reach my potential and to be that person that I want to be. And every morning when you walk out of the house, walk out as the person you want to be till it becomes your new default setting. Don't walk out one more day as the person who feels less than or has his tail between his legs. Walk out every day as the person you want to be. Play make-believe till it becomes your reality. And I'm not saying fake it till you make it, although there is some value in that, because, as I say, a belief is only a thought that you've held on for long enough till it became a belief, and beliefs are generally go unquestioned. You are now going to question what you've been believing about yourself, and you are then going to sit and say, I now put a new belief in its place. And it's going to take commitment and perseverance to install it, because we know the brain doesn't like change. And if you've been making sense of the world in a certain way for the past 20, 30, 40, 50 years, it's not going to change in a week. You're going to have to say, I'm committed to becoming more, to creating the version of myself that I want and that I know I'm capable of. I hope that was helpful. I hope those of you who have those self-limiting beliefs will start putting in the work to change them, so that you can grow and become and keep growing and keep becoming more and more, because that's what it's all about. As human beings, there is no limit to what we can be. We don't stop learning, or we ought not to stop learning ever. Be curious. Be curious about just how far you can go and what you can become. And then just see how the world around you changes for you. Have a wonderful day. Remember, this is on Spotify and YouTube. Please share it with someone who you feel could benefit from it. Please send in your requests and comments and whatever you are interested in or perplexed by or just want to grow a little bit more into. Have a wonderful day and an excellent weekend, and stay warm.
The radio station you can't live without. This is your radio.
This is South Coast Radio.